Bears fans, YouTube, welcome back to another episode of Bears Fans Talk. I haven't introduced ourselves in a while. I feel like I've been skipping that part.
You have.
Kevin, the main event Haggerty.
Thank you.
Here with JCMD, Johnny CMD. Here with another episode. If you're new here, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
It really helps support the podcast. We're here giving you weekly Bears fan reaction videos from another really disappointing week.
Don't forget about our Instagram plug.
Oh, okay. And we also have an Instagram now that we have a profile picture and no posts.
We're going to do it. I think we'll start this week.
Oh, you want to start this week?
We'll post
I gave you an idea of something you could post, and you didn't take the initiative to do it.
I'm on it.
Okay. All right. So Kevin is on it. So feel free. Bears_fans_talk.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you'll find it out there, I'm sure. No bell again this week.
Yep.
So busy weekend. My sister got married on Saturday.
Congrats, Lauren and Sam.
You were there? Yeah.
Great wedding. It was awesome. It's crazy to see your little sister get married.
Yeah, no.
Like objectively, like me just sitting there, I'm like, we kind of talked about, but she was like always your little sister, and like, now she's married.
It's crazy. It was a fun time. I'm a big wedding guy.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a surprise to anybody who knows me.
You've really leaned into the weddings. Like
I do. No,
like,
they're
love
fun.
them.
They're
you
fun.
Get jacked up.
I always appreciate an open bar.
Yeah.
I appreciate dancing. I prided myself, and I had the conscious thought, I'm not going to go have a conversation with the DJ at this wedding.
That's a great idea.
Yes, but it's not an idea. It's not an idea I always have. I did not. Okay. Not on this one. But just because the last time I had I had a conversation with the DJ at a wedding, it was very unsuccessful. so that was kind of where I'm at. The following day, the Bears game, we actually watched it at your place.
Second week in a row we've watched the game.
That's true.
And we're 0-2 watching games together.
Much different. That's true. Okay, so we will not be. I'm actually going to the Bears game this Sunday.
Oh, nice.
I am, yes.
Okay, very cool.
If my brother doesn't want to go, I'll shoot you a text.
Why wouldn't he want to go?
I don't know. You have something going on?
I'm going to make sure he has something going on.
Well, it's your prerogative.
All right.
So I am going to the Bears game this Sunday. So a quick note about watching it at your place. Probably the most high volume of toddlers I've ever been around in my entire life.
There was a lot. So my wife had a surprise sprinkle. It was unbelievable. She was super surprised. Mm-hmm. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But so the girls did their thing at my sister-in-law's place, which is right next door. Mm-hmm. And the guys came over here with the children.
And for for all the men who watch the podcast in their early 20s who have no idea what you just referred to when you said a baby sprinkle.
So you're not allowed to call it a shower. The second time around, you have to call it a sprinkle because you sprinkle.
Yeah,
it's like small.
Just like a mini.
A mini shower. But anyways, it was great. It was awesome. But all the guys were over at the house, and there were a lot of kids. We had we had Dean, we had Cam, we had JoJo, we had Mila, and then we had Tassi, and then we had Yana come over too. So there were 6 toddlers at one point.
That is correct. Plus Theo and Natalia.
Theo and Natalia.
Not quite toddlers. I guess Natalia.
I forgot. Yeah, Theo and Natalia too.
Theo's a little older than Natalia, but a lot of kids. 8 kids. 8 kids.
It's about 8 too many.
Pretty well behaved, honestly. Honestly, it worked out probably about as well as you could expect.
I think that's how daycare does it because it's just like groupthink. Yeah. And they all just kind of
could be true.
Whatever. Anyways,
there was a moment with my child and your child where mine was playing with his toy golf club and he was like, no.
Yeah, no.
And they were both grabbing it and started screaming. That's not gonna hit for anyone else watching this.
I know.
All right. So that was our weekend, but
sad, disappointing results.
This is a football podcast.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna open it up, general comments, and then we're gonna go to our weekly tradition of naming that game.
Yep.
Would you like to start?
Well, naming the game, or
no, just start with your just general reaction, and then you transition to what your name of this game would be.
General reaction for the game was overall. I think I can walk away from this game at a positive. Honestly, more positive than negative.
Okay.
I felt like I saw a lot of development from Caleb, a lot of growth in some areas, and I think you pointed out earlier, just watching him play. He's still a rookie, and we have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But he made some good plays, and he's better than Justin Fields. There's no question about that, right? And so, but he's still a rookie.
There is a question about that. We'll probably bring that up a little bit later, but
he's still a rookie, and but getting his first touchdown pass to Romadunze, then them kind of arguing about the ball,
that was cute.
It was cute.
They had a little moment where they were just like,
you're still losing,
and then it led to them not being prepared to do the 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
everyone's pinning that on Eberflus, which it probably is, but they're running down the sideline 30 yards downfield like, hey, boys, bring it back. Anyway.
But they're still losing, though, and they still lost the game. But I think that, like, just taking it away, that, like, the expectations for the Bears were probably a little too high, even maybe from this podcast. But I'll then kind of go into my name the game, and I'm going to call this game Flus's Blues.
Flus's Blues?
Yes.
Okay.
For two reasons.
Okay.
One, he lost to the freaking Colts.
He did, yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't cognizant of that. Well, we talked about on the podcast last week that this was his homecoming game.
Correct. So, like, losing to the blue team, like, that whole concept, right? But then second of all, I think Eberflus is in trouble, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think he is in deep trouble. And, like, people want to pin blame wherever you want to go, but, like, at the same time, like, when you watch that game, Jonathan Taylor is running all over us. And it almost looked like they weren't even, like, he didn't have the boys fired up to play. Like, it felt like it was not, the intensity wasn't there. His hits principle was not there. Like, I felt like it was just, like, Flus has gotta turn it up. And, like, it feels like when we say the same Bears, like we said last week, like same but different, it's starts with Flus.
Yeah.
And come on, like, it's the same crap.
I considered calling my name the game like the Flus hot seat game.
Yeah.
I ended up going with a little more positive take, but my overall impression of the game, we were just watching the recap, and it did kind of feel like the slide, but we didn't score until like halfway through the second quarter.
Yep.
The play calling just did not look good. There were a bunch of times where as bad as the previous week against the Texans looked, it did not look quite as bad in terms of the offensive line, with a couple of key exceptions, which we're going to talk about. Caleb had more time in the pocket at times,
sure,
and it resulted in some more better numbers. Like, he threw for over like 350 yards.
He had 52 passing attempts.
52 pass. That was enough. So I'm torn between two.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw both of mine in the ring.
Okay.
And then we can kind of decide between the three.
Okay.
My first was Caleb's post-game press conference, when someone said to him, you threw 52 times. And he goes, wow, 52 times?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So I wanted to call it, when I saw that, the 52 times G's game.
Yeah, okay.
Because here's the thing.
Yeah.
The Colts got gashed in both week 1 and week 2 on the ground.
Yeah, on the ground.
And our game plan is to make our rookie quarterback, who's had offensive line problems, throw the ball 52 times. And granted, we spent most of that time down. Like, we were down by a score or two for most of that game.
Yeah.
But that game was always kind of in reach. We needed to have a better showing on the ground, and we did not.
Yeah.
My second title. And this is kind of what came, this title kind of came of hearing all like the talk and the social media posts and everyone coming down on the Bears. And, is Caleb Williams a bust? Is Justin Fields the way to go? Like, is Eberflus on his way out? Are we about to repeat another cycle about drafting a quarterback, dumping the head coach that drafted him, and then repeating that cycle all over again? And I'm just deciding I'm going to go with this. This is the RELAX game.
Oh, man. I was going to wait to use that one.
Reminiscent of Aaron Rodgers, which is probably the coolest moment that he had prior to him going completely off the rails.
Yeah.
Is the Packers were off to a rough start, and he just said RELAX. And that's where I'm at. And you kind of touched on this. Caleb Williams is a rookie.
Yeah.
We thought the Bears were going to be more of a complete team coming into the season. And we were wrong for that. I think that we're all a little bit surprised that the Bears aren't looking more like a complete product. But at the end of the day, we have an offensive line that's not there. We have a bunch of skilled positions who have not cohesed, and a new offensive coordinator. But I think it's going to take some time.
So here's the thing I'm going to say with the relax comment, which I feel the same way on the relax thing. But, like, Aaron Rodgers at that point, when he dropped the relax thing, the RELAX, like, he was already a MVP at that point. I think he already had the Super Bowl at that point too. And so, like, he has the ability to say that because he's a proven commodity. You saw him on, what was it, Thursday Night Football? We saw him, and he just, the old man's got it, and I was wrong. I didn't think he could do it at 40. He is shaping up into, but he is a great quarterback. Okay, he was back then. I don't know if he's great now, but he's very competent still. So I don't know if that's going to work in this situation, because I'm fearful that this is going to continue to occur. That this is not an isolated. Johnny, there's a real possibility we can be an 0-3 football team right now.
There's very real possibility.
Okay, and so when I think about it like that, like we escaped week 1 with a defensive touchdown, like I'm not going to say lucky. Like they played hard and they won that game. But like you lose against the Texans, you lose against the Colts, and now what we'll talk about later, we have a Rams game that they're banged up. But I'm just saying, like, you go 1-3, dude.
Yeah.
Like, this is gonna be another second season of not fun podcasts.
The relaxed comments, I think, to me, is coming from a place of, I think this is gonna get better. We just watched the recap on Caleb Williams, and I think it's there. And I think the offensive line will get better. That being said, let's transition into, we've got a nice little tradition going on week by week, third week in a row, of showing some miserable offensive line.
Let's watch this. Let's set the stage too. If you guys remember, this is 4th down. By the way,
this has been the most polarizing play. Like, how do you call that play?
And they hurried to the line and they ran this again, right? This was a hurry to the line call, right? And they're going to motion Swift to the backfield.
So I'm going to play this in slow motion, because I think that's really the only way that you can truly...
And just even look at this, too. It's to the weak side, too. Look at this. You have 2 tight ends on this side, too.
Yeah, it is strange to the weak side, but it is...
Look at this. You don't even...
to the long side.
Wait, Johnny, let's just break it down right. You don't even have enough blockers to block, even if you option off of him.
So when asked... I know a couple of offensive linemen, when asked in pros game about this, they said that they were given a different look from the Colts than they were expecting.
What different look would you see?
No, it's true. So basically, this is a speed option. So basically, Caleb Williams is going to try and get to the outside. Hopefully, there's one guy unblocked, and then you make that guy choose to go for the running back or yourself, and then you make the pitch based on that. And we're just going to go ahead and play
that's probably his read right there, right? But then what's 45 going to do? 45's out of the play?
So here's the thing. I think what 65 is, you're going to see 65 pull to the left, and I think he's going to try and seal this guy. I don't think that they were planning on seeing a nose tackle here. You'll see 79 try and engage on him and see if they can kind of prevent him from going deep, but he isn't able to get there. 70, I think, is gunning.
Yeah, so it's your read.
70 is gunning for here, but unfortunately the outside line just kind of comes in right away, does not try to get out deep at all. And then basically 70 tries to get there but gets thrown away, and 76 is just going to whiff.
Do you remember what a nose tackle is called? What kind of technique?
Zero technique.
Zero technique.
Just a little fun piece of trivia for the viewers.
Just thought if you remember.
Right, so this is in 0.5 speed. So we see Swift motion to the backfield, and I think maybe they're hoping that will kind of draw someone more inside, kind of get them to tip their hand. 65 looks like he's trying to seal out this way. Just absolutely whiffs. Nothing. And then Caleb ends up having to make the read on the guy who was whiffed on. And then this is a 12-yard loss. At this point, the game is 7-0, and we were arguing, me and a couple of the boys were like, whether or not you just take the points here. And
no, you should go for it.
I think you should go for it, because then I think they were inside of 2 minutes. And then you give the ball at the 1 yard line.
But why speed out? Why that?
It's a bad play. I would have loved to. I would have loved to have just seen them just gun this, right?
Like literally just run it down their throats.
Yeah.
Like just like I would motion Komet right there and just call hike as a lead blocker.
They had the ball 1st and goal on the 4.
Bro.
Yeah, so it's rough. So the Bears' offensive line. There were points where it seemed like the pass blocking was better. The run blocking is still terrible.
Dude, DeAndre Swift, like, I know you wanted a pregame, but we talked about pregame, but I'll just put it out there. I was wrong about him. I was truly wrong. And it's not just that like he can't get anything done. It's that like Roshan Johnson looked okay. Right, and so here's his stats for his 37 carries.
Minus 12. So these every single carry.
Well, we know what the minus 12 was.
Minus 12 was the play we just saw. minus 4, minus 4, minus 4, minus 3, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, minus 1, 0, 0, and then a bunch of 1s, a bunch of 2s, a couple 3s, 4s, and there's 120. Basically, these are all 37 of his carries. So it looks bad.
If I'm looking at the median here, the median's probably 0 yards, 0 to 1 yards.
Yeah,
that's ugly, man.
So it's funny because we said this, like Kevin sent me this graphic, And he asked me if I'd pulled it up beforehand, and I said yes. And it was just kind of quiet, and I go, was it the graphic about your boy? And he didn't say anything. And I go, are you starting to regret that take? And he just go, I am. No, we're starting to no, what is the word I use? I was just gonna like take back the take.
Yeah.
Or
This is
admit defeat. Are you gonna admit defeat on that take?
Here's what's upsetting me the most though. So there's been, if you remember, like 2 years ago, there was that running back group text that they had that they felt like they were being undercompensated. Do you remember that? And they were like talking about how like they're not getting paid what they should be
Like
paid.
it's a meme, right? Just a joke.
No, it was real. There's like a running back group text.
Oh no, I haven't seen.
Okay, so what happened? I think this is when Zeke was arguing for his money, and the whole concept that like, oh, we'll just draft a running back, like you're replaceable. The average running back only has 3 carries. We're going away from workhorse backs. That whole concept. So this year, if you remember, there was a lot of running back movements.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Saquon got paid.
Let me tell you. So of the movements, right? So Barkley got paid. He got paid $12.6 million annually for the Eagles, killing it.
Yeah.
Arguably, probably the 1-1 overall pick if you had to redo fantasy right now would be Barkley. Okay. Number 2, Josh Jacobs went to the Packers. He got $12 million a year. He just gashed this Colts offense, Colts defense.
He did. Yeah.
Killing it. Just having a great season. Number 3, Joe Mixon got paid $9.9 million down in Houston. He's got a little injury, but before that, killing it. Just absolutely amazing. Number 4, Derrick Henry went to the Ravens, doing quite well as well, getting paid $8 million a year. Next up, our boy, DeAndre Swift. He is the worst of all those. And remember who's the first one to sign, too? The Bears are like, we got our guy. Yes.
Did Swift come before Saquon?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Swift was like the first one out of the gate. Super upsetting.
I think on paper. Okay, so
Hey, and let me go down even more. Tony Pollard on the Titans having a pretty good season.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones on the Vikings having a very good season. Okay, Devin Singletary, whatever. But now we're Austin Eckler, whatever. But those other backs, all those other backs are doing great. They're all doing great.
what I'm willing to say,
it's so frustrating.
what I'm willing to say is like this revisionist history of like. Because when we signed DeAndre Swift, we were like, hell yeah.
I was pumped.
Hell yeah. Because it seems like, because he's a pass catching back.
Yep.
We thought that would work well in kind of like Shane Waldron's style of offense. And he has, we've seen him kind of go out into the slot. And you said it once this week. He went out in the slot. He played essentially as a wide receiver and made a play.
Yeah. But he's just not him.
What we did see more of this week, which I appreciate.
Motion?
We saw a lot. You're big on the motion, but I was about to say.
I love the motion.
What I was about to say is we saw a lot more Roshan Johnson. And we saw a little bit of Khalil Herbert.
We've seen Khalil Herbert.
Yeah,
We've seen him. He got the touchdown last week or 2 weeks ago.
I want to see them a little bit more. I want to see more running inside the tackles. I think that's the big change going forward is we got to figure out this running game.
At this point, I'm willing to admit defeat on Swift. Okay, and like whatever it is for the run game, like Johnson's fine with me. Whatever, use him.
I'm not quite as final about the decision. I think that if the offensive line starts to gel, it's hard for us to look at the play that we just looked at, where 4 guys are on their butts on a 4th and 1 play, and DeAndre Swift goes back 12 yards, and blame that on DeAndre Swift. I think the offensive line is going to get better. I think that we'll find DeAndre Swift will find his role in this offense. At least that's what I'm crossing my fingers on right now.
I hope so too, because I was really high on Swift, and I hope my take back of my take. I hope I eat it. I hope I do, but it's tough. Before we move on to this, I guess we can talk about this because this correlates. So I was super happy to see Rome Odunze get going today.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. He went big bright spot of this game.
6 for 112 with 1 touchdown. He had 11 targets. Cole Kmet 10 for 97 with 1 touchdown.
10 for 97.
10 for 97 and a touchdown. DJ Moore went 8 for 78.
Wow.
Yep.
Those are better numbers. I mean, I guess Caleb Williams for 363.
Yep.
I wonder when the last time Bears had thrown for 363. I think someone threw the name like Hoyer out there or something like that. I think it's been like a decade.
No, Brian Hoyer?
I think. Yeah.
The guy who, when we beat the Raiders, when it was the Bajent versus Hoyer game, that same Brian Hoyer?
Maybe.
Wow.
I could be wrong. No, it's been a while.
So with how many pass attempts? 52 pass
52.
attempts? I looked this up real quick. Caleb Williams is on pace to have 669 attempts this year passing based on those first 3 games.
It's a lot. It's a lot more.
That would be over 100 more than any other Bears player has ever
in history
has ever attempted. Just to put that out there in perspective, that's too many passes for a rookie. You're going to get 2 picks when you throw the ball that much for a rookie. And you're going to get a turnover, a sack, strip, fumble. When you put your quarterback in that kind of position, he's going to turn the ball over.
Especially with this offensive line.
He's going to turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to happen.
This number needs to be sub 40 if we're going to realistically win games.
I mean, dude, not even. Like, in the 30s, it's just fine. Tom Brady would pick you apart in 20 passes.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to throw the ball 50 times, especially with such a low-scoring game it was. Granted, 49 of the yards or whatever came on that Hail Mary pass.
Yeah, that was this guy right here.
Yeah. Was that the Rome?
That DJ caught it.
DJ caught it.
DJ
Okay.
caught it.
Okay.
So, I mean, but this, this passing chart, it's utilizing the full aspect of the field.
It's a good passing chart.
It's a good completion percentage. I mean, the 2 interceptions and the strip sack are obviously huge demerits on this game. But we're watching the replay just before we started filming this podcast, and Caleb Williams made some big plays when it counted. He made some good balls. He still overthrew a few, but you know what? He's a rookie. Yeah. Like I said, we all hoped that he was going to be ready to go. C.J. Stroud, day one. That's not the case, and I don't think that we can say, hey, he's a bust at this point. No. But what people are saying a lot of is our boy JF2 QB1.
JF2.
And here is his passing chart. Actually, a pretty good passing chart for Justin.
They're 3-0, Johnny.
And a really great day.
Yeah.
They are 3-0.
Okay. They're 3-0. What is the CPOE? What is that?
So that is completion percentage above expectation.
And who's it?
No, not above. Completion over expectation.
What expectation?
So I had to look that up myself, and it's basically what the analytics. It's like a next gen stat. The analytics expect you to complete based on down and distance, the coverage, the pressure.
Hang on, are these the same analytics that forecast Travis Kelce for 14 points every week? Because if it's the same analytics, I don't believe it.
Do you have Travis Kelce on your team?
I do.
Oof. Well, I paid $30 in Fab for Isaiah Likely.
I heard he's only had 3 catches since week 1.
Oh yeah, it's been bad.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
So, Justin Fields. Admittedly, this is a really good game for Justin Fields, and they are 3-0.
Yeah.
I didn't watch this game live.
Nope.
I did watch last week, which they also won.
Yep.
And
they've won all their games.
And I am not here to entertain any expectations. My email address is showing. I am not here to address any accusations that the Bears made the wrong choice. And now Justin Fields is on a team, and we're seeing what he can really do.
Nope.
If you actually watch the games, I'm sure, Justin Fields is in a position that they're utilizing him. They're like, okay, this is what Justin Fields can do, and we're not going to ask him to do anything that he can't do. And Mike Tomlin has been great about that.
Mike Tomlin's a great coach.
I think, I think that majority of these games, I'm open to being wrong about this, but the Steelers are playing with leads. You got Justin Fields down 2 scores, and you're expecting him to be making big plays, consistently driving you down the field with good momentum and timing. It's not going to be the guy.
So here's the thing, though, I'm going to say about that too. Pittsburgh Steelers games are not Kansas City Chief games.
No.
Okay? They are a grinded out. They've always been that way. They're a tough defense, right? So, the way the Pittsburgh Steelers play, Justin Fields doesn't need to be superhero. He doesn't need to be Tom Brady, Cam Newton, or anything. He just needs to play with it himself and do well. And, do you remember when they're like, oh, we're trading Justin, we're going to go to the right place, blah, blah, blah. The Steelers are the perfect place for him to go. Couldn't have been a better landing spot for him because Tomlin's a great coach, first of all. Second of all, I bet you it kind of helps. I know, we haven't really even talked about Russ being completely cooked. And
I can't believe that we're here right now where Russ was named the starter week 1, had some sort of ticky-tack injury, where he's still dressed on the sideline despite being inactive.
Is he still dressing
I don't
now?
know. Hopefully it got word to him that he can't be doing that. But the fact that, it just so quickly kind of overturned on him, I don't think he's going to get a shot. Unless Fields gets hurt, I don't think he's seeing the field.
But here's the thing, though. He's got to help having Russ in the locker room, a veteran presence like that. And I think Russ is probably just happy to still be on a football team.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Fields had the same situation with Andy Dalton and Nick Foles, and clearly it was just not that was not the way it worked out. And Russ is probably in a position where he's just I got to revive my career. This is it. This is now or never.
Well, Russ is also 30-something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I could be wrong about it. He could be a great teammate. He could be a great guy in the locker room. I somehow doubt it based on all the memes and the general laughing stock he's become and the fact that this is now or never. But I could be wrong about that.
How old do you think Russell Wilson is?
Russell Wilson is 37.
35.
35. Okay.
Guess how old Sierra is?
Oh, his wife?
Yeah. Smoke show.
40.
She's 38.
38? Okay.
Little cougar on his hands. You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm happy for Justin. I still wish him all the luck in the world. I think there's no question that we didn't make the right decision.
No.
Like,
I'm still a hater.
the other thing too is that, like, and I know we're going to talk about here in a second, you would have to pay Justin Fields after this season.
Yeah, no, that's a big part of this too.
And like, I think people forget about that.
And are the Steelers going to be willing to do that? Well, no. So they'd have to pick up his option or not.
They do. So
Do they even have the app?
the way the 5th-year option works, you have to pick up the option before the season starts.
So they can't.
They decline the 5th-year option.
So the Steelers got to decide based on this season whether or not they're paying
No.
Oh.
He's in his 4th year.
Yeah.
So you have to pick up the 5th-year option before the 4th year starts.
But I'm saying they got to decide to pay him this year.
Oh, yes. So they declined the option, which
Yes.
probably would have been better based upon how he's playing.
Well, why wouldn't they just pick it up, keep him cheap?
It's not still. I think it's still relatively more. I mean, it's a progressive pay scale.
Maybe you're not allowed to if you're not the team that drafted him.
No, I explicitly remember them saying they declined the option.
Because it really seems like that's what they would do.
Hang on.
Because why would you bring him in just as a 1-year rental when you weren't even sure if you were going to play him to begin with? Either you think you're going to play him, in which case they...
Yeah, it doesn't come to a surprise that Pittsburgh declined the option.
So that's going to be a terrible situation in the offseason. Unless Fields like absolutely turns it on and cooks, and then you got to pay him. The choice is obvious.
Guess how much the 5th-year option would have been?
How much?
$25.6 million.
That's a fair amount.
That's not cheap for a potential backup.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he continues to win,
I guess they would have to pay him. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, right? So they're in their minds, they're like they gambled, and based on a 3-0 start, they probably lost that gamble. But then again, they're like, shit, we got a 3-0 football team.
Yeah.
I would much rather decline the option and worry about that in 2025 and get the wins this year. Like Tomlin's dude, you got the boys playing.
It'll be interesting to see. I still think that I'm very much of the mind is like I'm going to say it every week until I figure out what the answer is. What's the plan in Pittsburgh?
One. I was to say 1 year at a time, one game at a time. Like they're
3-0.
They're 3-0, John.
They're 3-0.
And arguably the toughest division.
It hasn't really been shaping out to be that way.
No, because Joe Burrow sucks.
Yeah, unfortunately. So next topic, another big topic in the media, and we've already kind of glanced on it, is Matt Eberflus on the hot seat. He's getting a lot of flack on clock management.
Awful.
2 kind of really bizarre challenges, which in the moment I was kind of willing to be like, well, it's essentially a timeout.
Yeah.
If you're going to call a timeout, if you think a timeout might be worthwhile, like I think Eberflus is the type of guy, like when his defense, like if they're in a big moment, call a timeout, bring the guys together, kind of get a reset, get a breather, get some water. So I think that's probably what those challenges really were.
I mean, the thing though is that just like I still question. That was my lead off. Like I'm pretty upset with kind of like this team could be 0-3 right now, and like we were 4-0 in the preseason. It means nothing, I know, but at the same time though, like the expectations were like, hey, like everyone says he's a player's coach, and that's why everyone loves him and all this stuff. Well, go out there and play for your boy. Show some heart.
I think the defense is.
Dude, when you watch some of those runs that Jonathan Taylor had, he is a skilled running back. He was a rushing leader 2 years ago. I get that, but like, dude,
I'm completely. You know what, Jonathan Taylor, he's gonna have his big runs. I didn't feel like the Bears. I thought the defense still looked good. I don't look at those runs from Jonathan Taylor this week and be like, oh my God, the Bears are lethargic and they don't want to play for their boy. But that being said,
how many rushing yards do you think they gave up?
I'm sure it was like 130.
More.
How many?
150.
How many passing yards they give up?
Well, that doesn't count because Anthony Richardson's not a real quarterback.
That's true. Anthony Richardson.
If anything, I'll tell you this: I'd much rather have Caleb Williams than Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson, missed some
Dude,
big balls.
That turnover he had, that pick in the red zone. Yeah. I thought he threw it left-handed.
But it got tipped. But
doing the triple coverage.
His other pick was just a
egregious,
overthrown ball straight to Jalen Johnson.
Dude, it was like he was missing some throws too. Like he is not. He just looks. He's an athlete.
Yeah.
He's a really really good athlete.
We'll see. I don't know. I think it could be. We'll see on Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson's going to be a great fantasy quarterback.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see. I'm not here to talk about Anthony Richardson. This is the first time I've ever seen him play, but I think that this is the storyline that gives me the most anxiety because we spent all last year talking about this cycle of drafting a quarterback. Mm-hmm. 1 year in that system, head coach gets fired.
Yep.
Whole team gets fired.
Yep.
New coach comes in. That quarterback that was drafted isn't playing well. Okay, drop that guy, new quarterback. And this could be the third iteration of that same thing. If we have a bad year, if Matt Eberflus gets fired, then whole new regime comes in. That regime does not have any like solidarity or like, you know, direct attachment or allegiance to Caleb Williams
or anyone on the team.
Yeah, so I mean, he might come in just like, okay, well, I need my group of people like to do what I need to do well. I need to have the team that I need to put together.
Yep. That's a whole other year.
That is what gives me more anxiety. I am not anxious about Caleb Williams' overall, like, you know, future. This is what gives me anxiety.
Well, you should, because it is that directly correlated. So if the coaching staff turns over and all that stuff, that's going to be tough for Caleb. I think if this hypothetical world, let's just play it out. If a new regime, or not regime, a new coaching staff comes in, right? Because Pace isn't going anywhere. He's Poles, sorry. He's in there to be like forever, right? And like not forever, but he's earned himself, I think, just based upon the trades that he's made. Like, do you remember, really quick, do you remember in Moneyball? Mm-hmm. Do you remember the concept of it, like Billy Beane and the manager, they had beef all the time?
Yeah.
So do you remember what the issue was?
There was a bunch of issues. What are you getting at?
Billy Beane makes the team, but then the manager has to manage the team. Yeah. So he kept wanting to play this player, Chavez.
So Billy Beane ended up just like cutting and trading.
Exactly, right. So now you have to play the players that I want to play. The point is that Poles puts the players out there, and Eberflus is the one who's supposed to execute on the field.
Right.
And Shane Waldron too, right? Yeah. And they're not executing, and that's the problem. But like if someone comes in, a new coaching staff comes in, they're not going to do anything with Caleb. It's not like a Justin Fields controversy. They're not going to bench Caleb. And then Rome Odunze too, like fine. Cole Kmet, fine. Like these are like DJ Moore, like these are actual playmakers. So that's not going to change. It's all the other pieces that I'm worried about.
Okay. So I guess I'm a little bit torn as to what I actually want to see happen here. Because I don't want to see Caleb Williams and the Bears start a new regime and another head coach. But I also have enough concerns about Matt Eberflus as a whole, that do we really want to pitch our, pitch our flag, pitch our stake in this coach? Yeah. And I don't know right now. I don't know.
Do you remember who I wanted as offensive coordinator?
The guy that ended up going with Washington.
Oh, man.
What's his name?
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah.
And gosh, I wonder how Washington's doing this year.
That's a really good point.
I'm just saying, Johnny.
I forgot about him.
Okay, I never forgot about Cliff Kingsbury. He's an offensive genius.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying though, like that could be what the Bears need, is like a not an offensive genius, but I don't want to do coaching staff changes at all, but like it was the question coming into the season was the coaching staff, right? They got all these pieces in place, and like my big thing is it's coaching right now.
I need them to figure it out.
They need to win this week.
I can't do. Yeah, they need
at home.
They need to win this week.
They're favored by 3 points, by the way, Johnny.
Yeah. I
can't believe it, honestly.
I think it started low. I think it opened up lower than that.
Okay.
But the Rams. The Rams got some issues. Okay.
The other thing too, I will say, is like the Colts were an 0-2 football team. That was a must-win for them.
Yeah, it was.
And they played like it. Mm-hmm. They played hard. They played harder than the Bears, is what I truly think.
All right. A couple of smaller stuff to talk about. Torrey Taylor, a guy that, I've definitely flown my flag for.
Yeah.
Had a pretty bad game. He only had 3 punts. I think his net was like 36. And I just remember there was one play that I think we had the ball at like the 45 or the 50. Great opportunity to kind of pin them back, and he muffed it in a way that I haven't seen punters do often. He put it like right outside. It ended up going like the 20,
think the fix was in?
The 22 or the 25. Maybe the fix was in.
The Ozzie fix.
The Ozzie fix.
Yeah, they're crazy degenerates over there. He did draw a roughing the punter call.
I wouldn't say he drew it. He drew it. I don't think he can put that on his stat line. But this is I think if he doesn't start to play well, the conversation is getting louder and louder. Like, we should have used that 4th round pick on an edge rusher. Well, I guess we got an edge rusher in the 5th round. We should have used that 4th round pick on a lineman.
I disagree.
Yeah, I still disagree. I still like the idea of a punter, but he's got to play well. I think we needed that punter, and I talked about in a million podcasts why that was the case. We had a terrible punter last year, but he's going to need to play a little bit better.
I'm on Torrey Taylor. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
What do you mean? He didn't have a bad game. He went 3 for 127 with a 42-yard average.
Look at the net.
The net isn't on here. One inside the 20.
Yeah. It was all right. Could have been better.
Oh, is this my boy Cliff Kingsbury?
This is your boy Cliff Kingsbury. So another conversation people are having is Jaden Daniels had a really good game, but I think
I watched it live on Monday Night Football, and that touchdown pass that he threw to
Scary Terry.
Oh, dude, I was like, oh my god, oh no.
I haven't gotten a chance to see him play live yet. I'll be perfectly honest with you.
It was electric.
But wasn't this week his first touchdown pass?
Yes.
So, I mean, come on, let's keep it in perspective. He had a good game, and, they apparently they've scored in every single drive for the last 2 games, which is crazy that in that previous game they scored in every single drive, but none of them were a touchdown pass from him.
And so I think he had a rushing touchdown too. Okay. So this hand, how do I want to say this? This is what Caleb Williams meant when he texted Torrey Taylor.
Mm-hmm. Not punting.
Not punting.
Going 2 games without punting.
This is what he meant, and this is what we would love to have.
The punter in Washington is just sitting on the sideline with a mouthful of Zins.
He's just chilling, living life.
Yeah,
and it's just chilling.
Yeah,
it's killing me.
So I mean, this is going to be another growing conversation. It's going to be I'm going to be so sad if Caleb Williams doesn't win the Rookie of the Year. Well, because
he's not the favorite anymore. Malik Neighbors is probably the favorite.
You think? Is he playing that well? I know the Giants just had a win.
Oh, dude. He just had 2 more touchdown receptions this week.
Yeah?
I'm firing him up in fantasy this year.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right, what do we have next here? Okay, so you want to talk about this.
We
talked about this picture last month where C.J. Stroud little brothered Caleb Williams, and we both took some serious offense to it. And as much as I hate to see the gosh darn Vikings still playing well, they destroyed the Texans.
Yep. They did.
Sam Darnold lit them apart. What is going on? The Vikings are still first in the division.
They're 3-0. They're undefeated.
Yeah.
So, I just love the quote on this. Life comes at you.
Life comes at you fast.
I thought that was great because 1 week to the next week, and what we said specifically with this, CJ Stroud had a very pedestrian,
very average game. I could have gone the rest of my life never developing an opinion on CJ Stroud until this happened.
I mean, yeah.
And now I'm just I hate your big stupid nose.
His goatee.
Yeah.
His fake ass goatee.
Goatee. I am just in the most comedic and not serious sense ever. I'm just F this guy. I'm done with CJ Stroud. I wish nothing but misfortune.
I don't know about misfortune
and sophomore slumps to him.
I mean you're losing to the Vikings, the 3-0 Vikings now.
I'm not saying misfortune I don't want him to get his leg ripped off next year. I mean misfortune in which I hope he accidentally what was the one thing that guy did? Oh, we talked about it in week 1 where Mason went to the media when did you find out you were starting?
Oh, and yeah.
Apparently it was supposed to be an hour before, but he said Friday. I hope CJ Stroud does that next week. I hope CJ Stroud accidentally insults the wife of his offensive coordinator on the podium.
I would love that. But did you hear, by the way, CMC went to Germany for treatment? Yeah. He's been hurt for weeks.
I said it in our group chat.
For months.
It's got to be exhausting to be CMC. I don't think I could be committed to train to play football, but to spending all this time recovering from injuries, I'm just
Peyton Manning went to Germany to get his neck infused or whatever.
I'm just exhausted.
Do you remember what I said on the way to the draft about CMC?
What did you say about CMC?
If he fell to me, why I was concerned about him?
Why?
Because he's 28, first of all. I said he just got married.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying, football may not be your main priority anymore.
That's not why you got hurt, Kevin. You can't blame the fact that he just got married on the fact that he tore up his ankles.
Same, man.
He's now getting stem cell treatment in Germany.
I'm living my life now.
Maybe he's just taking a second honeymoon in Germany. Maybe this is all just a facade.
I don't know, man. I think he's hurt. I'm just saying, once you get married and you have kids and you move on to that stage in your life, your priorities change.
Okay.
You make some business decisions. Did you see the Packers? Did you see the Packers head coach, what he said after the game?
No.
They made some really bad tackles. This dude was basically olaying people.
Yeah.
And he basically was some people made some business decisions during the game, and we're going to be making some business decisions.
Oh, about the players? Interesting.
Love that.
I would say that all the time.
What's his name? Antonio Gibson or whatever? Yeah, right?
I would say that all the time, looking back in my high school playing days, and just I wasn't very tough. I made a lot of business decisions on the field.
Dude. But
I didn't shed a block I probably could have just because I did not want to touch that running back who was barreling down on me.
Well, I'll tell you this, dude. At least Joe Burrow actually laid a block on Monday Night Football.
Joe Burrow's tough.
He's a tough guy. Tough guy.
Next, and we talked about this last week, we're paying very close attention to what happens here. Bryce Young gets benched, and Andy Dalton brings the Panthers, who we thought were going to get relegated to some minor league baseball team.
Yep.
He comes in and beats. Who did they beat? I mean, it wasn't a great team.
Did they beat the Raiders? No.
It was I think it was the Raiders.
Was it? Andy Dalton.
But he had a good stat line. Can you look that up?
Yeah, it was the Raiders. Yeah. He went 319 yards, 3 touchdowns, a pass rating of 123.
123, that's crazy.
Dude, I mean, first of all, like, these are professional football players, okay? So, like, it's not college. It's not guys who are majoring in marketing or whatever, right? Like, these are guys, they're pros, what they do for a living. But, like, to see the vast contrast between, like, Bryce Young not being able to do anything and Andy Dalton, a seasoned veteran.
Yeah.
People forget, he was actually, like, a stud in Cincy.
He was a Pro Bowler.
He was great.
Yeah.
If, like, remember the A.J. Brown years, T.J. Husman-Zada?
Are you sure that was Andy Dalton?
Positive. Who do you think it was? Carson Palmer?
Yeah.
No, Carson Palmer was already on the Raiders at that point.
Okay. I'm thinking Ocho Cinco.
Oh, Ocho Cinco was Carson Palmer for sure. Yeah. But anyway, so he was torching it, but he comes in and he lays a stat line like that, like.
It speaks to the bigger. I mean, Sam Darnold, Andy Dalton, the guys that we thought were probably washed at this point in their career. Baker Mayfield.
He had a bad game though.
Yeah, but he's still slinging it. I think the idea of giving up on these quarterbacks who don't do well in their first place, and then just paying the hell out of people who do have a couple of good seasons to start with, I think that bubble is going to pop. We talked about it previously.
I'm agreeing. I didn't really get a lot of traction what you said last week, but I'm agreeing with a lot more. And like as I kind of think about it just in general, I feel like perception, because I gave you the Danny Dimes and the Jalen Hurts comp, right?
Yeah.
And so like what happens is that you get these I wanted Caleb to come out and have great couple weeks, because the perception of you is so critical. Like first impressions, early perceptions, the success of Joe Burrow early in his career, going to that Super Bowl in year 2, everyone thinks he's an absolute elite quarterback.
I think what it comes down to is having like your signature win, like a signature game where everyone's talking about that week.
Yeah.
And just like the population at large decides, okay, that guy's a dog.
Yeah.
And like Joe Burrow had a couple of those.
Yeah.
It wasn't just one.
No.
Like he had that, that big, a couple big wins against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And I think some of these guys like, Sam Darnold, who regardless of what their stats are, Danny Dimes, regardless of what their stats are, they just don't have those. They don't have that moment where you're like, okay, this guy can ball.
Well, do you remember
and that takes you a long way.
Do you remember what happened with Sam Darnold his rookie year?
No.
He got put on injury reserve, I think, or he at least missed 2 or 3 weeks because he got ill.
Okay.
Do you know what he got ill with?
Was it COVID?
No.
What? Mono.
I
do remember that. Okay. I do remember that. Hey, you can't go back in with mono. You can brush your spleen. It's a real thing, man. I'm not sure about adults.
I'm just saying, like, mono is like what you get when you're 12 years old, 13 years old.
I was going to say, how does someone who plays professional sports not get mono until they're an adult?
Bro.
Did Sam Darnold's bougie ass come with his own water bottle that no one else was allowed to touch for the entirety of his childhood?
But have you seen the things, his own Yeti with his name on it?
Yeah. He's got like at 9 years old, he's got his own like bodyguard. Like, this is Sam's. Don't touch this water, kid.
Have you seen how young he is though?
He's probably like 25, 26.
He's super young. He's younger than all his other quarterbacks. So like, anyways though, I'm just getting to like, if you want to go to the next graphic too about the getting paid. So this is very interesting. So the top 5 highest paid QBs have only 2 wins. And this goes now to the concept of the bubble, right? And I think this also plays into the top. So like, you admitted defeat on the Tom Brady thing last week. Yeah. Right? And
admitted defeat on the take.
Yeah. So like, I think that these quarterbacks need time to develop in the NFL. And now I'm agreeing with you too, that the bubble, like paying these quarterbacks may not be the right thing. Yeah. Especially like that, leaving that. So remember when I was talking to you about Sam Bradford's contract before they went to the pay scale for the rookies, how much he was getting paid, all that guaranteed money? Yeah. That was wrong. Yeah. Okay. So now we have them on a scale, right? And now that second contract now is gigantic. I don't think we should be paying them that much in their second year contract.
So, I mean, when you have this precedent that you can go out and get a guy like Sam Darnold, essentially bargain bin, and then you use that money to build other things around and like pay other people, like get yourself a good defense, get yourself a good offensive line.
JJ.
Yeah.
I mean, they paid like Jefferson, but like obviously Darnold's competent enough, and like it's great for the other JJ McCarthy to sit behind and watch and play and learn. I think the Vikings are going to be someone to wrestle with here.
We'll see. I mean, it's hard to argue. They got some quality wins under the belt at this point.
It's They beat the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the numbers, or is it just the screenshot? Oh, it's just a screenshot. Dude, it's ugly. Like Dak, no one. Like
Dak doesn't have a win yet? Is Dak 0-3? I think he is. I think you're right.
Is he? He's the highest paid. Dallas Cowboys are 1-2. The other one is Jordan Love. He's technically 0-1.
Well, yeah, fine.
Just saying. Trevor Lawrence.
A little bit skewed.
Trevor Lawrence not doing well. Joe Burrow's got no wins.
I wonder who the fifth is. It's not. I don't think it's Mahomes.
No, it's not. But we already said he's getting paid on another. Let me see if I can see this really quick. So yeah, I think there's going to be some changes in the way the quarterbacks get paid going forward. I could be wrong. I mean, no, I think that's a decent take. Yeah, Dak's 1-2, Burrow's 0-3, Trevor Lawrence is 0-3, Jordan Love's 0-1, Tua,
okay.
1-1.
Again, a little bit of a skewed statistic. Not two of those quarterbacks missed like a combined 3 or 4 games.
Still though.
Yeah, no, it's interesting statistic. You would expect these guys to be the ones lighting up, but yeah, I think we're paying a little bit of mediocrity. We're paying a little bit about we'll see how it goes. So looking on to next week.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Rams. So the Rams are a little banged up right now. Cooper Kupp and Puka are both out their top 2 wide receivers. But last week they put not a spanking, but they had a come from behind win. 13 unanswered points in the fourth quarter, and they beat the 49ers.
I did not see that game. Wow. That's a bummer. But the 49ers are really banged up. I saw a graphic that the 49ers have a total of $105 million worth of players who are injured right now.
That's awesome. I mean,
for everyone else.
I mean, but the thing about the Niners are they're still going to make the playoffs. They're going to get right for the playoffs. If I'm a betting man, they're going to be just fine. They're probably going to make the Super Bowl.
I don't know what the division looks like right now, but you could be right about that. But yeah, it's scary that Matt Stafford was still able to pull this off. What I will say about Matt Stafford is he's never been a Bears killer, and I think we have played him since he's been to the Rams. I'm not sure about that, but it's a home game.
Yep.
Noon game.
Yep.
Bears. I think it's going to be a rowdy environment. I'm really excited to be there. I think people are going to be going off for Caleb. I think it's going to do the offensive line a lot of good, not having to be on silent counts.
Yeah.
I don't remember week 1 as the issue being the offensive line so much. Week 1 at home.
No, yeah, it was.
I mean, I'm sure it was. The running game was bad. The play calling seemed weird. Caleb was missing throws, but I don't think we were talking at the end of that game being
we were.
Maybe I'm wrong.
No, we are.
I'm hoping that the offensive line will have a little bit better time at home. I think I'm picking. I picked the Bears to win last week. I'm picking them again to win this week. I think I would take them. I think I'd take them to cover.
So the Bears have not played Stafford yet since he's been with the Rams.
Okay.
Unless, when did he come there? Not 2021.
I don't remember what year.
Was it 2021? Actually, let me check. He was, yeah. So he played them once, and he beat us 34-14. So we played the Rams.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that the year that we came in last?
Probably in 2021. So we played them 4 straight years in 18, 19, 20, and 21. The Rams were in a 3-game winning streak against us. However, what I will say is, I'm not going to say this is an absolute must-win for us, but if we go to 1-3, and the Vikings are 3-1, that is, they go 4-0. Dude, this division could get out of hand pretty quickly.
So our next 3 games are the Rams, and then it's Panthers, Jags.
And the Panthers all of a sudden look like a legit team.
Yeah, I mean, it's a flash in the pan. Who out there has tape on Andy Dalton? They're going to be able to brush off. I'm not going to cause any alarms at this point. But then we have to go to London to see the Jags, and then we have a bye week.
Yeah.
I think we've got to go to the bye week at least 3-3. I think we realistically got to go 4-2 with the back end of our schedule. I think we could go 4-2. I think we need to. I think we got to at least win 2 of these 3 games. Otherwise, we're in trouble. Otherwise, if we go to the bye week with a losing record, I think we should probably start looking forward to next year and see what we're going to be and start looking about who might be on the free agent market for offensive line next week. That's probably if our bye week we have a losing record. I'm going to say right now, I think we dedicate to looking at what offensive linemen are on the free agent block at the end of the year. I think that's how we spend the bye week.
Oh man, dude,
it's the truth. I think if we go into the bye week 2-4, we are in bad shape.
I'm not looking forward to it, man. Yeah. I think though that this week is going to be a get right game. I think Eberflus has felt the heat.
I think so too.
I think he's heard, and it's not a must win, but it is a must win. I'm hoping
I'm hoping that the coaching staff in film study put all the offensive linemen in a room.
We said that last week.
Put all the offensive linemen in a room. I hope they shut off the lights.
And just watch
just
everything.
A screen and just watch that play that we just watched for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And then
that's the practice.
The ones that came out alive get to start this week. And then hopefully they're angry enough to never let something as embarrassing that ever happen ever again.
So here's the thing. I want to see Caleb not pass for 52 times.
Of course, yes.
That's number one I want to see. Number two, I want to see better tackling and more effort from the defense. I know you're not as big on me, but I felt like Jonathan Taylor was running all over us. Not great. And they're pretty banged up. The Rams are pretty banged up right now. So Kerryon Johnson, he's just he's okay.
Yeah.
He's not bad.
Yeah.
So, he can't go free for 150 yards again on us. I want to see under 100 yards rushing. Contain him.
Yeah. I think that we got to get pressure on Stafford. We can't give him time. He's without his two best receivers, Nakua and Cup.
Kyron Williams, sorry. Yeah. Kyron Williams. I said Kyron. Kyron Williams.
So, I think that we got to get some pressure on Stafford. Bend but don't break.
Yeah.
Make them run. Fine, make them run. Whatever. If that's what their game is, but just no big plays, no splash 28-yard runs like we the Jonathan Taylor.
Who's Stafford gonna throw to? That's what I'm saying. If your two number one receivers are out, I want to see him throw.
I'm not sure how they won that game. I'm not sure by what method they won that game.
Kyron. Yeah. Kyron won the game.
I'm a believer that the
two touchdowns.
I believe that the defense is going to be able to shut them down. I think if the defense played as well this week as they did last week, then I think we win this game. I think the offense is going to look much better. That's my prediction. I think we're going to run more between the tackles. I think we're going to take some pressure off of Caleb. I'd like to see a little bit more movement in the pocket, maybe some rollouts and play actions. And I think Caleb is going to throw 35 passes, throw for 228, 1 touchdown, no interceptions.
That would be ideal.
That's the game that I'm expecting this to be.
And then who's going to get the rushing?
The rushing?
Yeah.
I think
a 3-man rotate. 3-man.
I think it should be a 3-man rotation.
Yeah.
I think we should ride some hot hands, and I think a lot of times in this game it looked like Johnson was the hot hand, and I don't think they stuck with him enough.
Yeah. So really quick. So Kyron's got 4 touchdowns rushing and 1 touchdown receiving. He had 3 touchdowns last week.
I think it's an anomaly.
I don't think so.
We'll see.
I do not think so.
Well, he's on in at least one of my leagues. I can't remember which one it was. He's on my bench, so that sucks. Anyway, so let's wrap it up. We actually got a couple of comments on last week's video, which we always love to see. If you're still watching this video, you're a real one. Drop a comment.
You're a real one.
So first comment from an Estevan J 4 days ago. This is on last week's video after the Texans. The coaches should be better, but this is 60% on Ryan Poles. He has had 3 years, a ton of draft capital and cash. He has completely ignored the center position and signed Davis because he was cut rate cheap. The Bears spend about half of what the average playoff team spends on an offensive line. And, you said Ryan Poles is going to be here forever. There's some growing sentiment that, hey, we were willing to hand Ryan Poles his flowers, but it hasn't equated to any wins yet.
So
and on paper, everything that he did looked great. But there's some real concern here.
So before we go on that, I think he bought himself legitimate time with that Panthers trade.
I would hope so.
We've
still got one more pick coming from the Panthers.
That's what I'm saying.
It better be a good one.
but you can't until even he's still at least got another year or two.
I think so too.
I hear what you're saying and I agree with you a lot. The offensive line needs to be addressed. Next season, without question, it needs to be addressed. But it's not Poles. It's 60%. So the 40% is what, coaching?
I mean, just because he didn't want to completely oust Ryan Poles because the city of Chicago still loves Ryan Poles,
I think he's fine.
Harold W2Y.
This
2 games in, relax. Jaden Daniels just runs. He hasn't been able to pass. Watch the tape. Daniels is a one-read quarterback. Unfortunately, he had a great game. We'll see. Don't have any opinions on Daniel Daniels yet.
I mean, do you want me to read off his stat line really quick?
I think he had 2 incomplete passes last week.
For the Bengals game? Yeah. So he went 21 for 23 for 254 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I'm just getting QB rating of 141.7. Is that perfect?
That's essentially perfect, I think. I think 156 is perfect.
I don't understand
how that wouldn't be perfect.
158.
But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe we need more touchdowns. So,
I don't know if that aged well.
I liked it when I read it, but I don't like it as much reading it now.
I know.
And then Invader Doc, actually my little brother. Dude, the little bro moment. CJ was talking it up because he was mic'd up. You're not, and then he just we're quoting what I said last week. You're not even Derek Carr. So yeah, I almost wonder if CJ Stroud was just being what's the Celtics guy that we hate?
The Celtics?
Yeah, the guy was just like, what are they gonna say now?
Taysom. Taysom.
What's his full name? Taysom. Celtics. What? This is embarrassing. We talked about him so much in a different podcast.
Tyson Tatum.
Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum.
Dog. So I almost wonder if like he was just trying to be like the cool thing on the mic. He's mic'd up and just trying to have that moment. So
life comes at you fast, huh, CJ?
Life comes at you fast, CJ. Let's see how it goes the rest of the year. So.
Last thing I want to say, I got some really positive feedback on the pod.
Yeah.
Like not only from the wedding, but when the people came over to my house, like, oh, when's the pod come out? And then Kevin Murphy texted us.
Was that Murphy?
That was Kevin Murphy. He's like, we're trying to look for the pod. Where's it at? People want it. So we got some positive momentum. We're up to 88 subscribers. So Anthony Richardson card is not going out.
Not yet. I'll give it out when we get to 100. Maybe I should have said something that did it up front. I'll give it out when we get to 100.
And however, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'll do it.
All right,
okay.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll do a giveaway from Anthony Richardson card when we get to 100.
Last funny thing I want to say. So my son, I had my Caleb jersey like on like the hamper or whatever. He picked it up and he brought it over to me and goes, "Dad, yes."
Oh, that's cute,
isn't it? And I was like, so he knows that the Caleb's mine, or whatever. But it's still cute. But that's the last thing I want to say.
All right, man. So must-win game. You gonna buy Dean his own Caleb jersey anytime soon? Any own Bears jersey anytime soon?
Not at this rate.
Okay. All right. So that's all I got for this week. Thank you guys for watching. Bear down. We're going to ring the triangle next week. All right, man?
When we practice.
Peace.
Nice. Long episode?
No, I don't think so.
Yep. An hour.